Hi guys, welcome or welcome back to Janvi Unfiltered, a pure play finance channel wherein you get to learn about equity research, analysis, tools, kits, and everything that you need to know about the markets. If you have not subscribed to the channel yet, then please hit the subscribe button. Let's grow together and let's get started with today's video. So today's video is about interviews. What kind of questions do they ask? How many rounds do you have in an interview of equity research analyst? What are important things that you have to take care of, what you have to do, what you don't have to do. Everything is going to be answered in today's video. Before we get started, I wanted to let you guys know that I would love to take an interview of one person, whoever is actually applying for a lot of roles, and I would like to do it over Zoom call. And also I would like to take your interview and make a and post it on my channel so that people know what kind of interviews we take and how rigid is an interview process, because यहाँ पे I can like make you understand a lot of things, but when it's a live case study kind of an example, it will be even better for you. So I'm going to put in a Google document, Google form link below. Please fill in the form with the name, number, and what do you guys do, and are you actually looking for getting a job in equity research analyst? If yes, I'll select one of you guys and I will take your live interview, and of course only if you're okay with being on camera and being posted on a YouTube channel. Please fill in the form below, so of course we can navigate and make it helpful for everyone, and of course it is going to be very helpful for you. So whenever you apply to any company, there are going to be 3 rounds that they're going to take of yours. First thing that you need to take care of is building the correct CV, and you need to make sure that your CV has everything that is needed for an equity research skill set. You don't divert your CV to any other information which is not necessary. Maybe I'll make a video about how to build a perfect CV, but when we talk about equity research, you need to make sure that you have your research analysis, your valuation, modeling skill set, and the research work that you have done, and how and what benefits has it reaped for your previous organization or yourself if you are a fresher. All of that has to be mentioned in your CV. That is very important. Now when you upload your CV, people are gonna go through it. Very rarely people are going to scan through only your education and give you a job. They're going to look at your skill set and your analysis set. So even if you're a fresher, you need to put in the things that you can do, so people actually know who you are, what you are, and what your potential is like. That's number one. After your CV being shortlisted, you are going to get a call. So I have called about 800 people. So I've interviewed 800 people for the first round, and of course there have only been 50 to 60 people who have passed through the last round in this set of 800 people. So I will call you for the first time. I'm just using me as a reference because that's more easier for you to understand. So I, being an interviewer, will call you and ask you questions about who you are, where you are from, what you are, what do you do, where do you work, what are your skill sets, what has your education been like, and you need to be very upfront with your answer in terms of your personality, about you section. So remember in school, on the first day the teacher would ask you to get up and introduce yourself to the class, and most of us would just sit under the rock and be very underconfident. This is not something that you have to do. You have to show that your power stands out, you are intelligent, you are analytical, you are smart, you are capable for the job. So all of that confidence need to be thrown onto the face of the interviewer in the first question. Post that, the interviewer, for example me, will just talk to you about a stock or your work experience, and will deep dive further into what you have done to understand that whatever you have said in the first go is true or not. So what you have to remember is keep, don't fake anything that you said in your about you section. When it's the first round of interview and when it's on call, do not fake anything about you, because you are going to be questioned about everything, every single detail, and it's going to be deep dive further. So that is something you need to make sure you don't fake about. So I'm going to ask you questions to understand whatever you said was correct or not, and do you understand the markets. If you spoke about a certain work experience, I'm going to deep dive further. If you spoke about a particular company, I'm going to deep dive further into the company. And this is going to be, when I say deep dive, it's of course not a 1 hour long call. It's going to be a 20 to 30 minutes, 15 to 20 minutes normally, not even 30 minutes, 15 to 20 minutes long call. In case if someone is very interesting, the call can go up to 30 minutes, but it just wraps up between 15 to 20 minutes. And then if everything goes well, in case if I feel that you're confident, you understand, you have basic knowledge about things and industry, and basic skill sets are in place, then I'm going to take a call and take a 1 hour long interview. It's going to be a virtual interview or a physical interview depending upon the place you are from. It will be a 1 hour interview in which it will be over a Zoom call, Teams meeting. My face will be shown to you, your face will be shown to me, and that long call will further deep dive into your work experience. Everything that we discuss in those 15 minutes are going to be deep dived into that 1 hour long call. And in that, I'm going to understand your mindset, your skill set in detail, your mindset about markets, your mindset about investing, analysis. We will take a company, discuss about the company in detail. What do you think about your company? What are the important parameters you look at, fundamentals that you look at? How do you research a company? What is your process of researching a company? And everything that you uh, do in the process of researching a company is going to be discussed in that 1 hour long call. Now what you have to be sure of is, this call is going to decide if you're going to go further or not, because the last round is the presentation round, and only if you pass this round you are going to actually go further or be a potential for selecting in the company as a potential employee. What most mistakes that people make is during the second round, because first round is a very short call, it normally goes very well, but in the second round people actually divert from topic a lot. In case if I'm talking about a company which is Trent, uh, I'm talking to a person about Trent, and he or she is actually diverting from Trent. They're moving around conversations, like they'll talk about retail industry, Trent, Zudio, then they'll jump to another retail company, then and there might be change in statements in that 1 hour long call. That first they said that it's a good company, they like it, and then eventually they'll find out that no, it's not a good company and they don't like it. And the reasoning between A and B or A and Z is going to be very different, and that is not something that you have to do. There has to be a journey, there has to be a progression. If you don't know something, you can just say that I do not know it, I'll look into it further. That is the best thing to do, to accept your mistake and accept something that you don't know. But in case if you actually go on giving wrong information, you are going to be doomed, and you are not going to go through the interview. And so do not give wrong information. Stick to what you said. Don't move around conversations. That's a mistake which people make. And don't change your facts. If you're saying something, stick to it. If it's wrong, accept that, okay, what I said was wrong. But to cover that one thing up, don't say 10 more things around it so that that one thing which is not very true looks very fancy and nice. That is not something which an interviewer wants, and these are three qualities which you definitely don't want to do in your round two, because that is going to mess up everything for you. So make sure that you talk about things that you know and everything that you know. You talk about your processes, if and you will talk about a company. So if you talk about a company, talk about that one company which you know. An interviewer will always give you an option to choose the company you want to talk about. I'm not gonna, in the second round also, I'm not gonna give you a company that I'll like just present in front of you that, hey, let's talk about Crystal today. No, I'm not going to do that. I'm going to ask you which is the company that you worked on, and then we're going to talk about it. But when you talk about what you've worked on, make sure that it's very structured, it's proper, and you speak about everything that you know about the industry, about the company, about fundamentals, about financials, about valuations, everything. In case if you're a fresher and you've not done valuations, you can just say that I've not done valuations, but I know how to do valuations, and this is the process of doing it. And so that is more and so about round two. Now, round three is basically a presentation round. In case if I like your round two interview, and if I know that, if I understand that, yeah, this person has a particular skill set to go further in this job, then I'm going to give you a company. Now, I will give you a company to work on, maybe in the same domain or maybe in a different domain. In case if you choose not, and in case if you do not like that company, you can say that I don't want to work on this. Is there any other company that you can give me in this particular sector? For example, अगर किसी ने मुझे इंफ्रा सेक्टर का कोई कंपनी दे दिया, आई विल जस्ट से दैट आई एम नॉट वेरी वेल वर्स्ड विद दिस सेक्टर, कैन यू प्लीज गिव मी अ कंपनी इन FMCG, logistics, power, textiles, or this, because this is what I've looked at or have my expertise in. Any company would work. So an interviewer will give you a company and will give you 2 weeks, 2 weeks to actually research about the company, make a presentation and present it to the entire panel. Again, can be virtually or can be physically. So that is something which most of the companies follow, and that presentation has to be very structured. Now what you have to make sure to do in that presentation is, in the round 2 the interviewer will have made some comments on certain aspects of your analysis which they might have not liked, or they might have thought that that is wrong. So you have to look at those aspects and not repeat it in your presentation. That is very important. Point number 2, which is very important, is that your presentation has to be very neat and it has to have all the information, but the slides need not be extremely loaded. It has to be a neat detailed presentation in which you talk and explain more without a lot of things being on the screen. What people make mistake is they put in a lot of things on the screen, which makes it very shabby, and the interviewer is not listening to you, they're actually reading. So when the attention is divided between reading and listening, your words are actually going misunderstood, because that's not going through the minds of the interviewer. That's very important. And lastly, what is very important is that you look at every single aspect. I've spoken about what are the aspects that you have to look at when you research a company. My series is have one of the series has already been done on how to research stock from scratch, and now I'm starting a series on fundamental analysis. So you need to know ki I'm not going to repeat everything right now, but you need to know that all of those things have to be inculcated into your presentation, and it has to be a very concise presentation. Now, do not look at that company independently. For example, if a interviewer gave you a company like Varun Beverages, then you cannot just look at it independently. One thing that you have to inculcate is a competitive analysis, because that is where your presentation completes, and the interviewer will definitely ask you questions about competitive advantages and peer comparison, competitive analysis, and the competition in the entire industry. So you need to include at least 1 or 2 slides on that aspect. And once you're done with that, I think you're very good to go with what kind of presentation you present. In case if you have seen my episode 2 and episode 3 of the previous series which I did, and in those I have put in presentation slides that will give you a good example on how a presentation should actually be. That does not include valuations in the presentation, but of course you will learn valuations through my videos in the coming few weeks. So you definitely have to make it very concise, cohesive, and very interesting, so the interviewer also takes some new knowledge out of it, and basically it shows your capability at the end of the day. So this is basically the entire process of interviewing, how interviews go through, how interviews actually happen, and everything that you need to take care of. A very short concise video. As I said in the start, I am looking at interviewing someone, basically round 2 and round 3 करना चाहती हूँ मैं, and I will also do round 1 which is not gonna be recorded, but round 2 and round 3 will be recorded. So in case if you are comfortable with being on camera, being posted on YouTube, and your interview being posted on YouTube, and if you are okay, and if you are someone who is experienced, it will be great, because that is when everyone else will also learn a lot. If you are okay, and of course that interview will of course help you also grow forward, and especially if you're in this journey of getting a job in this space and you are giving interviews, and this is going to be very helpful. So please fill in the form below, and I will definitely pick one of you guys for this. So yeah, I hope you guys like this video. See you guys in the next one. Till then, take care, stay safe, bye, happy investing.